The self-described tariff man, President Trump, touting the revenues brought in by tariffs he has imposed on Chinese goods. In fact, we're getting a dollar figure on how much is flowing into government coffers. Fox Business has learned that as of today, a total of $11.7 billion has been collected as U.S. companies pay record amounts in customs duties. Now, as companies shell out to bring in imports, will that ultimately trickle down to prices the consumers pay? And if so, when is that going to happen, if at all? Former Commerce Secretary Carlos Gutierrez also served as the CEO of Kellogg. So, Secretary, you've got a very unique understanding of how this works from both sides. First, let's clarify where the billions are coming from, meaning from whom?
Well, companies are paying for the tariffs, and then eventually consumers are paying for the tariffs. So this is increasing the price of products, increasing the cost to manufacture products, which is not good for companies. It's not good for bringing back manufacturing, because that just means it's more expensive to manufacture in the U.S. And consumers are seeing inflation. They're seeing prices increase. So no one is winning here with tariffs. And, you know, $11 billion, that's a rounding error if you look at our budget. And the estimate for the agricultural industry is a loss of $40 billion. So these are peanuts compared to what we're talking about and the impact of these tariffs.
Well, let's look at it. We broke down the numbers here, and for October, it was about $5 billion that came into government coffers from businesses paying these tariffs on incoming Chinese imports. But then when you look at the whole trade deficit, U.S. with the rest of the world, it's about $55 billion. And by the way, we hit a goods trade deficit with China that was a record $43 billion. Totally unrelated, but the budget deficit is $100 billion. So we see that $5 billion is a drop in the ocean, but President Trump might say we've got to go through some short-term pain for longer-term game and send the message to the world that it is time to understand we've been fair, everybody else has to be fair too.
Yeah, I think a lot of people agree with that message. The problem is how we're dealing with that message. And the way that we're going about it is impacting us as much as it's impacting China. So both sides are losing. You know, this is not an effective way of solving the problem.
Well, we've got 84 days left of the 90-day trade truce. Do you think that anything meaningful can get done? And Larry Kudlow came out today and said to the markets and the world that President Trump, if he sees some solid sort of advancement in these talks, then he'd be willing to extend that 90-day deadline.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that. I think it would be a big decision to go from 10% to 25%. But look, in 90 days, there's no way that we can negotiate China's structural problems in their economy. It's impossible. And both sides aren't really sure what was agreed to. What typically happens, Liz, is you go into one of these negotiating sessions, and then both sides issue a joint communique, which says we agreed to the following. If you look at what each side released, there are differences. So we're saying the Chinese are going to buy soybeans. They've agreed to buy agricultural products, but remember, they have tariffs on soybeans. So are they going to unilaterally reduce their tariffs? Those are details that eventually will overwhelm this discussion. I'm not optimistic that a lot can be agreed to in 90 days. Perhaps some market access, perhaps some exports, perhaps some principles.
Okay, so then,
but we're not going to solve the problem.
Then maybe if they extend it, that might be nice. But how concerned are you about this arrest of the Huawei executive in China at the U.S. Authorities' behest? She, it appears, faces decades of sentencing if, for example, she's convicted on these fraud and conspiracy charges to do an end run around U.S. sanctions against Iran and trying to do business with them. Will this put a freeze on the relationship that has started to thaw between the U.S. and China?
Yeah, there's no question. This opens up a whole new front in this battle.
Even if the U.S. has great evidence?
Yeah, because, look, we had the same problem with ZTE, and the president made a decision that instead of putting them out of business, which we were going to do by limiting exports to them, we fined them. but now starting to put people in jail with criminal prosecutions. And we're talking here about the daughter of the founder. So there are different ways that this can be done. There's no question. And she may be guilty. But let's just face the reality. We've just opened up a new front in this war. So it's tariffs. The trade deficit, by the way, is at a record high with China. With China, even though we have tariffs. The reason for that is that our economy is strong. So it's a little bit of a fool's errand to try to reduce the trade deficit.
Well,
so we're in a jam. We're in a mess. And
people have money and they want to buy things from all countries, including China.
That's right, and it's their decision.
Thank you. Thank you very much.